Afternoon, everyone. This video today deals with how you display an emergency or prominent message on the website. Typically used for emergency messages, school lockdown, snow day, school's closed tomorrow, that sort of thing. It shouldn't be used for general announcements, but that's completely up to you. And not up to me. So I'm going to show you how it works. It's been a feature that's been available since we turned on SharePoint, but I don't think very many people know how it works. And I've done a few modifications to it. First of all, let's get started with how to show it. Log into your site and go to Site Actions. Oops. View all site content. Everyone has a list called Emergency Messages down in the list section. If I click on it, I'm going to see just a sample one that's in there, and everyone has a sample one. So you can test this if you want to, but it's not really necessary. In order to display the message on any page in the site, and I want to emphasize that, when the message is shown, it is shown on all pages. It's not shown just on the home page, it's not shown on specific pages, it's shown regardless of the page that you go to. Okay? That will prevent someone who has, say, bookmarked a particular page in your site from not seeing it if they don't happen to go to the home page very often. So let's click this and do Edit Item. And I'm going to see Title, Message. But the important part is obviously the Show on Home checkbox. It's called Show on Home, but again, it shows everywhere, not just on the home page. Okay, and hit Save. Now that I've done that, it's active. If I go back to the main site or any other page, you're going to see this. Okay? It's very prominent. There's a large icon, there's a title, and there's a subject. It's not super fancy. You can't do different colors or underline or any of that kind of thing. It may be something that I add as a feature later on, but for right now, it's a fairly simple system. If you use the old CMS, this should be pretty familiar. It's almost exactly the same mechanism in terms of how it looks and how it operates. Now, one thing to remember is that this message at this point has no expiration date. If you want to turn it off, you must manually turn it off. Adding an expiration date is something I'll do at some point. But emergency messages, again, ought to be something that you're very cognizant of putting on the site and therefore should be cognizant of taking down. So remember, if you don't uncheck that box, it's going to stay up there. And again, it's going to show on all pages. If I go to the Contact Us page, you're going to see it here as well. And that's what it looks like on a subpage. Now, one of the features that you don't see is that if the district decides to put an emergency message on the main Richland 2 website, it will populate this block for you as well. So if the district announces a snow day, you don't necessarily have to worry about doing it yourself. It's going to display here if they're using the emergency message mechanism at the district level. The other thing is that you cannot override this message if the district is currently displaying one. So for example, if this school district decides to put out a lockdown for Rice Creek and Rice Creek wants to also do one, they cannot do that. The district message will always supersede the school's message. So keep that in mind. At this point, it's not possible to display two separate messages. It's probably not a good idea either, but you know, I guess that's debatable, but for the time being, if the district decides to put one up, it's going to show the same thing. It's going to show their message, and you can't make it go away until they turn it off. That was a request from Community Relations, and so that's how it's implemented. Any questions, you can check with them. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Again, it's Site Actions. Go down to Site Actions, View All Site Content. Go down to the list, and you'll see the emergency messages. And when you're ready to turn it off, check it, Edit Item, turn off the show on home. You can have multiple messages. Only one of them is going to show. You cannot display multiples. It will only show one message and one message only. So if you want to show multiples, you can't do that. If you have multiples in there that all have show on home checked, it's anybody's guess as to which one it's actually going to show. So if you decide to put multiples in here, be cognizant of that. I would probably just keep one message in here, and when I was done, I would just probably uncheck show on home or just delete the message entirely. Anyways, that's it. Any questions, feel free to email or call me. But that is the emergency message system and how that works. All right, thank you very much.